To get premium trading and investing tips, support on Patreon.
How's it going, everyone, and welcome to the second video of the Trading 101 series. Today we're going to be talking about specific terms and I would like you guys to understand, especially if you're going to be joining my Patreon. If you're not joining my Patreon, there's a lot of traders on Twitter that are using these specific terms, so it's good for you guys to know, especially if you're new. This is going to help you a lot. So the first term I would like to mention is being liquid. What is being liquid? Being liquid means that you have all of your coins at disposal. You sold everything, probably except your team. Like, you sold every single investment that you have. You can keep your team usually because people just build up their teams, you know, they keep them for weekend leagues and all of that. So we are not counting the team that you have. Sometimes, yes, you know, there's gonna be a market crash. You know that you won't play the weekend league. If you're liquid, means that you sold every single card in your club, you're ready to invest, you know the market is going to drop, and you know you're going to go in hard to make millions. The next term is HR, which is just a short term for high rated cards. That's like a term that a lot of people ask me, what is HR? Please remember that those are high rated cards that we usually use to invest in for the SBCs. Like, if the SBCs come out and they require high rated cards, we go in for the high rated ones. Usually in FIFA 19, my HR cards were like 85 and above. I didn't consider 84s, 83s as HR cards. They are more likely like mid range cards that they weren't even used this year as much as they were in FIFA 18, in my opinion. Like the high rate cards, 85 plus, were the ones where we could have made way more profit than on the 83s, 84s, where everyone has been investing in those because they predicted it's gonna be like similar to FIFA 18. Common mistake that I want you guys to avoid also in FIFA 20. Now, inform. What is an inform? An inform is a card that gets into the team of the week. Every week there's the best 23, I believe, cards released in packs for that specific week. Between Wednesday till the next Wednesday, you can pack them in packs for that special version with better stats and all of that. So basically, if you're looking to invest, these are the cards that are best to go in, the informs, because once they go out of packs, the supply stops, and once the supply stops and the coin balance starts rising of all the people in the whole platform of the FUT economy, they start buying them and they go up. So informs are really important cards for us. Those are the special items which they won't probably be supplied again unless EA does an SBC really later on in the game, but we don't care about that. Then also on SIF, TIF, FIF, this is a second inform, third inform, fourth inform, and so on. You need to know that these are just short terms for the informs. Like, cards can get a second inform. Let's say Ronaldo, if he has a first inform, then he's gonna play good again in the next game. He's gonna get a second inform, and so on and so on. So this is something that you need to understand while getting into investing these short terms, because it's easier to communicate. Now, flipping. What is flipping? There's a video I explain it. Please check it down below. I'm gonna leave it in the description. It's basically buying and selling cards in 24 hours on multiple occasions, because the patterns go up and down, basically because of the strong supply. When the supply falls, the demand rises, and then again, when the demand falls a bit in an hour of time, the supply goes back up, because a lot of people who didn't sell in the first hour, they start selling. Basically, blah blah blah. You're gonna check it in that video where I explain it. Furthermore, it's a bit more complex to understand. Now, panic buying. Panic buying is when the prices without explanation rise madly on a specific player. We saw that in FIFA 17 on Gray. That was like, those were mad profits. We saw Gray dropping down while flipping to 50k, and then he went up to 260k. That was a matter of minutes. We knew it was panic buying because people thought, oh my god, he's going extinct, he's close to 300k, I'm gonna start buying him, he's gonna go extinct. And this is what people do. They are not rational while they buy, and they push up some specific cards to mad values, and that's when you need to sell. So if you locate panic buying anytime, if I say in the Discord, panic buying, this card is happening right now, you sell. Then we have sell in the hype. What we mean here is there are two scenarios to sell in the hype. Usually the hype is before the event drops. So let's say there's a player of the month event coming up. A lot of people think, you know, let's say Royce, Bundesliga, he's gonna get a player of the month card. We buy Royce, I don't know, 2 weeks before that, we gamble on it that he's gonna be the main man to get it in the next month, and then he actually is believed to get into it. His gold card Royce will probably rise a lot right before the event gets started, and while that gold card rises, you sell it before the event drops, because you sell to people who believe that there's gonna be a need for this card in this SBC. Now, if it's needed, it's gonna go even higher. So the second scenario you can keep that Royce, wait for the SBC to drop. While the SBC drops and it needs Royce, but you're risking it here, because if it doesn't require a Royce card, it's gonna just go down. Like, he's gonna be panic sold, and that's when we buy again and all of that. I'm gonna explain in further videos how we do that in that scenario. But usually if he goes up and he's needed, there's a moment in the first 10 minutes of hype. Usually the first 10 minutes are key, usually where the biggest hype is going up. If you sell in the hype in the belief that the player is gonna get into the SBC in the first scenario, you're making some decent amount of coins. But if you sell in the hype when the player is actually needed and the SBC requires him, you're gonna see the price spike up so much that it's gonna be even more profitable. But you need to take the risk. You need to know on your own that you're risking it, and that probably, like, if EA doesn't do a requirement with as on our example, Royce gold card, he's just gonna drop a lot and you're gonna be losing a lot of coins. But this is where we get into the panic selling. Like, panic selling, this is the same example. If we look at the Royce card, now he's not needed for the SBC, and while he's not needed for the SBC, you can see his card being sold so much because people are just like, oh my god, he's gonna drop, nobody needs him now, I'm just gonna sell. They see the price drop and they get into the panic mode, and everybody jumps on that train, and they start selling the Royce card and lower. And this is when you locate a panic selling that is the most profitable. Whenever there's a lot of panic selling on specific cards, you jump in, you buy them, because once the market settles, once the supply stops, because the supply will always stop. There's not enough stupid panicking people selling these cards to keep the card going down forever. There's gonna be a bottom. You buy it at a panic selling, you wait, it's gonna rebound. People are gonna rebuy these cards, they're gonna need them in the weekend league. He's a good card in demand, and you're gonna sell it for a lot of profit. So panic selling is located while there's something, when a card is not needed for an SBC. There's a lot of stuff when panic selling is in. I'm gonna explain it furthermore in another video, so make sure to subscribe, guys. The last one is the SBC folder. The SBC folder is like a term where we explain the cards that are needed for the SBCs, the cards that we think that they will be needed, or we know that in a specific place of time they're going to be needed. So SBC folder, remember that we need those cards for the SBCs. They probably don't have any other demand just than that, and they are very profitable usually. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know down below. If you want to know any other specific terms that you heard and I didn't explain it in here, let me know below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and off to the next video. Cheers.